Okay, so 2024 or 2025 Newmar Essex. This is a new coach. The issues is going to be some programming problems. Well, the actual customer complaint are the blinds. The blinds don't behave properly, and these are going to be potentiometer blinds, so they're just not set and they need to be adjusted, which is fine. The issue that comes in to play is getting to the potentiometers, which are behind the cabinets. So they have them in a precarious position for some of these. The backing is let's see, to get with would have been nice if Newmar left a removable back, if they gave it like a door behind it so that we can actually get to the programming side of the blinds. So this one seems to be reverse, because when the others go up, it comes down, and when the others come down, it goes up. And these are most of the shades that have the problem are the nighttime shade. So as you could see, so it seems like we got reverse polarity on that one. This one is the stops aren't set properly, and it overextends. This one also overextends, and the rest of these seem okay. And so I think this one is just wired backwards on that one, and the rest, so the wiring needs to be changed around on that one in the living room area. These need to be adjusted. The potentiometers need to be adjusted for this large window behind the two couches and this large blind behind the kitchen area. Also outside we have push button automatic catch and lock compartments. One does not open at all with the button, and one opens but will not catch and lock back. Okay, and there was a slight issue with maybe a screw or something that was missing on the Oasis system, but I think he had his personal handyman take a look at that. Okay, so first diagnosis is complete. Okay, so we know exactly what's wrong with this part. Take a look at outside. I'll try to be non-invasive and get these to get to the potentiometers. So let me take a look at this one. The day shade on this one was getting caught, but now after I pulled it down, it's settling right here. Probably was designed to go up a little further, but because it's getting caught on this shade, it's better that it is set at this position. Let's take a look. All right, so this one I can get to easily. You see the potentiometers are accessible, which they should be. So these can be adjusted. Okay, let's see. Oh, the wiring should be also on the side. So the nightshade seems to be wired backwards because it's getting a down signal when it should be getting an up signal. So that should be a simple wiring issue. Let's see if we can get to it. trying not to be very invasive because let's see if we can get to the potentiometers on that. Yeah, so basically these are stopping kind of short. You see how they disappear. They should kind of disappear like these other ones, giving you a full view. All right, so yeah, these will be having to be disassembled. And some of the wiring looks like bullet connectors. If that's for the problem shade, they should be able to be simply swapped around. All right, so I've removed the shade that has the wiring incorrect, and I also needed to remove that so that I can get to the potentiometers for this one. The one with the blue tape is the one that is malfunctioning, so I guess maybe the guys at the factory knew that that one was a problem. It's also marked R on the harness, and they forgot to come back to it. So I'll have to trace that and find the bullet connectors for it and reverse it. But before I do that, I need to take an external power source and get it to roll up so it can be in sync with the rest of them. All right, so let me work on tracing the wires. Well, folks, we're back on the 2025 Newmar Essex. I will be bench testing the problematic blinds, which show anomalies. I will be taking them away from the multiplex system and testing their operation independently. I did contact the engineers who helped design these blinds, and they agreed that I should bench test. And he feels that it's a problem with the multiplex, not the blinds. So that's what we're doing today. Let me go get my battery set up and I will get started on getting to the power. This one's gonna be the no, I gotta remove that one to get to that one. Okay, let me get my battery set up. Yep. Very nice coach. I think these are about 1.2 million for one of these. So definitely don't want to break anything. It's where your liability insurance comes in, fellas. Okay, so we're on to the outside, working with a couple of compartment doors. So the customer complaint is that the doors are not operating properly. This one is. Let's take a look at it. You press the button, it unlatches, and then an actuator arm pushes the door out. Conversely, that actuator arm also pulls it back in, and it's triggered by that little switch that you see there. Okay, these are the wires that are doing everything. So when the door closes, it's going to engage this latch, which is going to cause that whole assembly to retreat in and close. All right, so His problem with this door is that it's not doing that. However, this door does not have that feature. How do we know this? Well, there's no actuator. You see, this one doesn't have the auto close feature. There's no actuator for it. So I am going to reinsert all my wires and fix that. But while I'm here, we have yet another door that when you press the button, we know it has power because it's lit, but it doesn't release the catch. That is not working properly. I hear a couple of clicks, but it's not doing what it's supposed to do. And since I don't have the schematics, we gotta go old school, which means I take a known working one and probe it to see which wires do what. Okay, so I got my negative lead back probe in, and these are some of my newer probes. Very thin, flexible, for slight bend. And I'm going to find out who's doing what by actuating. I got my Fluke 377 out, and I'll just close this by hand to mimic the door being closed, and then press the button because it works. So on this door, there's actually nothing wrong with it. That's just going to be customer education. On the other one, there is something wrong with it, okay? All right, now let's see. Now we don't have a whole lot of choices. I'm thinking that the red and the black are going to be the main power, and the other ones are going to be control, which is going to switch power depending on the control. So that's back probe and there. Now, just in case I don't have a good ground, I'm going to look for a known good ground. Normally, I can get it off the chassis. This is all, and then I'll just hunt for power. So let me get my alligator clip set up so I can have a known good ground. No need on searching for two different things. I just need to know the power. So I'm gonna find a really good ground. And all this should be a really good clean ground. All right, and now I got a probe for power. So let me find a connector for this to verify my ground is good, because I know there's power going here because the button is lit up. Okay, so let's follow this loom and see what I can see. I'll bring you guys back once I find my power feed. Okay guys, so I verified the ground is good. We came here. You can see that I have there's a solid power feed on that connector. So I know my ground is good and I can trust the readings now. We have 5 wires to choose from, and I'm gonna back probe the red. And what do we have? There you go. So as suspected, there's constant power. So there's gonna be a power and a ground on 2 of the wires. And then the other ones are control wires. Okay, communication wires, you know. So I know I have power on the red lead. So what I am looking for is a lead that only becomes hot when the button is pressed. Okay, so I'll press the latch in. Okay, nothing happened there. And then when I use the button, I'm looking to see if because obviously something is receiving power when I do that. I'm gonna go with the blue. I'm feeling good about the blue wire. Looks like I got a 5-volt reference on the blue wire. All right, let's pull it out a little bit. There it is. Got a 5-volt reference on the blue wire. Let's test it. Okay, so when the switch is depressed, the blue wire goes to 0. So it grounds out my 5-volt reference, and that's telling the controller that the door is closed. All right, so let me map out these circuits. And so when I press the button, okay, so only thing that's happening is I'm getting my 5-volt reference back. So let me mark down the stuff that I know. Let me get my iPad out. Okay, so I have enough information that I need. I have identified that the red wire is a constant hot, that the blue wire is the switch sensor, basically a 5-volt reference when the door is open, and it's grounded when the door is closed. And I have found that when you press the button to unlock the compartment, you get a momentary 12 volts on the orange wire. So that's the unlock trigger. Now with that information in hand, we can move away from the working door, which was at first thought to be not working, but it really is working. And now we can move to the truly non-working door, which is on the back, and see what's going on there. All right, so it was easy to get a ground because I have the chassis batteries back here, and I have verified my ground and my leads by going into what I know to be the constant hot for the assembly, and I'm getting my 13.3 volt, which is converter voltage. So now what I will do is and looking at this one, it also does not have an actuator, so it's not going to do the push-pull motion. I can go now to my orange wire and see if we're getting power. Because this is the switch. Okay, so I have my lead on the orange. We will simulate. I guess I need to check for my reference first, because that's going to be important. Of course, it will never try to open if it thinks it's already open. So blue wire should be 5-volt reference right now. So let's check to see if I have that 5-volt reference. And I do. Let's get it back. There it is. All right. So as you can see, I'm on my blue lead. So I have my 5-volt reference. The controller knows that the door is open. Let's close it and see if it grounds out. And it does. So the reference is working properly. Now let's go over to the orange wire and back probe that one, which is going to be our door unlock. And so I think that should be it right there, because I have a 0.1. Thank you for calling RV Tech Pro. All right, sorry about that. That was the auto motion shade engineer calling back, because he was extremely surprised to know that I still had that anomaly, even on the bench. He thought that it was impossible, but apparently not. I believe they installed the wrong motors. So anyway, back to this guy. I have my probe in the orange. I have my door simulated closed. I am going to set my meter to max just to make sure I get it. And I'm gonna press the button to see if it, okay, So as you can see, we got it. And I set my meter to max so that we can see it even after it has gone away. So the trigger is being applied through the back side of the harness, but the module here is not unlocking. So now I need to take off this cover and back probe the connection here to see if we have a problem in the wire run, or is this actuator simply defective. So stand by, let me disassemble. Okay guys, this connector is kind of built into this unit, so you have to, the unit comes with it's a potted connector. It's kind of all glued together, so you can only test it here. And to make sure it's getting down here, I switched up to a set of bed of nails. I'm using an alligator clip with a bed of nails to pierce the wire without damaging it. And now I will lock and I will set my meter to max, and I will press the button, and yes, the power is making it all the way, you know, within, it's basically to the module. So this is going to be a bad module. This little latch assembly is going to have to be changed out. That's about as far as I could test it, being as though this harness is not removable. And it's probably for waterproofing purposes why they made it like that. But nevertheless, as you can see, we have a trigger being sent to unlatch the door, but it's not unlatching. I'm using the manual to undo it. So there's a diagnosis for that one. I'll get some pictures of this, but at the end of the day, Newmar knows what's in here. They will take care of it. I'm sure they have a really nice build sheet, so I need to get, for this job, 2 shade motors. The long ones, I'll go measure them, and this assembly. Those are all defective. The wiring is great. The logic control is fine, which is good. All right, so measuring these, that window is 7 feet. This one is about 62 inches. It's kind of off sides. It's not really centered on the window. It's just the way they mounted it. But yeah. So that's just to help the guys figure out which motors, maybe all the motors are the same, who knows. We're just gonna order a couple motors. I'll have to completely take down these shades, which are, they're just clip-ins. And this one and this one, which is about 7 feet. I measured that one, so. Oh, glad it came back in. Don't want to leave my battery. So we need a 62-inch blind and another one that is 7 feet. We don't need the whole blind. We just need the motors. So at the end of the day, we were able to get everything figured out, guys. What I showed you today was everything's not gonna be ideal. I didn't have schematics and instructions to help me out with this wiring, and you gotta be able to figure it out like I did, using the known working one and getting your signals, and then going to the non-working one and seeing what's wrong to determine the problem. Because the customer, especially these type of customers, they're not going to want to put up with the bureaucracy and the red tape of, hey, I got to call this person, they didn't call me back, and this and that and everything like that. So I just had to figure it out. I already knew that's the type of scenario that I was facing. When somebody pays over $1 million for a motorhome, they don't want excuses, they want results no matter what. So that's what we got today. We'll get these parts ordered and we will come back and fix this thing.